just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Eric Martin Koppelman. I am a veteran. I think part of me is still, will always be back in the military. It's a great experience and a bad experience at the same time. But what veterans need are people that truly care. And the two gentlemen that I'm going to introduce to you right now truly care. Welcome to Veterans Entertainment Talk Show. And here they are, Michael Aharoni and Brian Goldman.
That was an amazing introduction.
Really nice, really nice.
I love it.
Welcome to our third
Welcome,
broadcast.
welcome. Yes. Make sure you have the mic in front of you so everyone can hear you.
I think they can.
Yeah, there you go. You feel
Right.
comfortable in your hearing now?
Everything's great.
Oh,
Thank you.
I'm glad.
we got to hear your voice. and everything.
Absolutely,
It's
very
a lovely,
important.
it's a lovely voice. It really
Thank
is.
you so
lovely,
much.
lovely. Yeah, there you go. So, guys, welcome once again.
I
Rich.
appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
I've never met. I got to tell you, I do a lot of radio shows, and you two put so much effort. Not only the fact that you have your own thing. I mean, Brian, an attorney, and you, an amazing realtor, but you put so much effort and time into this show, and it's really inspiring. So thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of it. All
Well,
right?
thank you so much for your assistance, and thank you very much for your service.
You're welcome.
Because but for guys like you, couldn't be here today. So
Absolutely.
thank you.
Absolutely.
So why don't you take it off?
Okay, well, we're very pleased today to have our first guest. Hiram Figueroa is a gentleman calling in from California. Hiram, are you there?
Yes, I am. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. Good afternoon. Or should I say, is it
Good
morning?
afternoon,
It's
and,
morning there, right?
Missy. Oh, you can say it's morning. We're still in the mid-afternoon.
Let me first.
we're 3 hours behind. Man, I can't do the math right now.
Okay. Well,
Hey, Hiram, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Good,
Hey, it's
good.
great hearing you guys again.
Yes, always, always. Thankfully, tomorrow you're going to be in California, and we're going to be here when it's snowing. So I'm jealous.
So Hiram,
Hey, well,
let
Yes,
me,
sir.
Let me introduce you a little. Let me tell the people a little bit about yourself, and then I'll let you take it over, okay?
Go ahead, knock yourself out.
I shall. Hiram and I met via an introduction from a good friend of mine, a distinguished veteran from North Carolina, and we told Hiram all about Sell to a Veteran, and he was immediately transfixed. And so we've spoken further. I had the pleasure of meeting him and his wife a few weeks ago in California. And we're proud to have you, not only for the fact that you served in the military, you're a stand-up guy and just you got your heart in the right place. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll talk about how it relates to Sell to a Veteran.
Well, I know we're pressed for time, but I'm going to keep it short to the chase. First of all, I want to thank you guys for allowing me to be on this platform. It's an honor pretty much to be able to speak on a podcast that allows to reach out to the public. As for myself, I'm an average guy from Brooklyn, New York, grew up in Williamsburg, learned the entrepreneurship and the mentorship from old guys that have been able to be out there and say, hey, do things right, and they'll come right to you. To make a long story short, joined the Marine Corps in 1977. Never came back to Brooklyn until the 80s. I stayed in the Marine Corps till about 91. My whole transfix in the Marine Corps was able to embody myself to change my perspective of things. Served in several campaigns from Beirut to Grenada to Panama to Desert Storm, Desert Shield. And to make a long story short, I've been able to serve proudly and have an honorable discharge as a Marine, and transitioned into the corporate world, which is called the private sector, and been able to, sustain from that, and served my
you lose him?
I think we lost him.
Eric, I think we lost the connection. Hiram, you still there?
Stand by 1 second. Hiram, are you there? Yeah, we lost Hiram for a second.
We lost him.
We lost him. Hold on.
He went through 4 campaigns
Hold
in
on.
the military, and we lost him in the span of a second.
This is live.
Live television?
This
Live?
happens.
It's unbelievable.
Right? While he's picking Hiram back up, why don't you brief about the sell to a veteran aspect?
Right. So listen, all of you veterans out there that are listening and watching, who can hopefully hear us.
They can hear us. I'm watching us.
Okay. Mike, Hiram, you back?
I'm back, man.
Okay.
Hey, you're back.
I was just saying, Hiram, you've been through so many campaigns in the military.
He didn't like that.
Yeah. And
He
within
thought,
a
you
mi-
were, he thought you said you have to do so many campaigns in the military.
and within
No,
a minute,
no.
you're gone. You're gone.
Semper Fi, my brother, by the way. Semper Fi to you. Semper Fi.
Yeah, man. Well, anyways, real quick. So after 25 years of working for UPS, man, I transitioned into the federal government again. And pretty much I've learned a lot of skill sets. So pretty much to this day, as we speak, to bring you guys up to speed, I'm an independent business consultant for advocating for veterans' rights, because I'm your average veteran has been able to understand the pitfalls and the lack of mentorship and the lack of transition from giving a roadmap to success for the average veteran. So understanding how to get service connected, understanding what are the challenges, and understanding why veterans today are having challenges to articulate themselves into the workforce that can't buy or sell or even close that door for people to say, we support veterans, we want veterans, but they're afraid of veterans. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense. Let me ask you something. You have your own network of veterans, don't you?
Absolutely, I do.
How many followers do you have?
Well, since you called me out on it, and I have currently right now as we go, it's 40,000 and about 10,000 followers. So we got about 50.
Wow.
All right.
Well, I'm hoping that they're
So-
all
That's awesome.
listening to you right now and watching us. So welcome to all of your
Well-
followers.
Hey, I can honestly tell you this. It really started almost a year and a half ago, and I changed my profile and then went from UPS, operations manager to just working for the VA and really focusing on personal growth and focusing on veterans. And next thing you know, it just took off to the point we're having this conversation right here. So I bring something of value that would bring everybody else to understand what my walk is all about. But pretty much I want to be able to give back to the community, because the veteran community is a small community, but we're big at heart, but we have commonalities that we're very like-minded, that we all want to be successful because we can relate to each other. So
well, that's
my
Hiram,
story.
Well, your story is our story, except for the fact that Michael and I are not veterans. Mike's grandfather was a veteran. My dad was a veteran. But like you, we are the same-minded, which is to give back to the veterans. Because for people like you, for our buddy Eric in the booth over there, but for you guys, we wouldn't be here today. You've given us the ability to speak freely and to live our lives. So again, I've said this to you several times, thank you so much for your service.
Yeah, and I want to thank you too,
Thank you.
Hiram. And just so you know, we have your beautiful picture right behind us. So anyone that's watching us on veteransentertainmenttalkshow.com, we got your mugshot here. So if anyone thinks...
Which one is it?
It's the one, I don't know, it's the one that you sent us.
It's the one in the suit, and underneath it has the numbers. It's going to be at local post offices around the world. Felons, please
milk
look out for
carton
this
one.
guy.
It's the
Right.
milk carton one.
Well, listen, I am more than honored to have you on board with us and helping our mission. To have someone of your caliber do what you do and really understand the needs of the veterans and actually believing in what we do. I think that's the most important thing. And to have someone like you as a supporter, I want to thank you. That's first and foremost. And as I always do, thank you for your service. But what I want to do, I want to basically jump into our Sell to a Veteran platform. And I want you to tell everybody that's listening what made you or what enticed you to actually join us. When we first originally spoke to you, we basically pitched you the idea, I guess, if you want to call it that. What made you basically say, wow, I have to jump on board with these guys.
Well, first of all, in today's society, being vetted in social media is a very much important thing. And when we're talking about, that's your business card. And in your business card, you want to be able to find out if people are just as like-minded as you and find out if there's commonality in it. And we can look at each other's profile, but when we have a conversation, within the first 3 minutes, you're going to know where things are at. So in about 2 minutes, I had that buy-in because I can hear the trust and credibility and the compliance, and it's all about having structure to give something back. You want to have a plan to be able to follow through, or you fail to plan, and you're going to be winding up over-promising and under-delivering to the public. So you only have one shot to have a first impression. So it was just taking it one conversation at a time until we met together, and Brian, and, I met with his lovely wife, and we had a nice, quality time in California. And it was pretty much reaffirming the connection of what we're talking about and the power of social media and the power of business networking to say, hey, we can do this. It's not just my story, but we can be aligned by like-minded people that can bring success and value to the community. So that's what got me into that, always be closing ABCs.
It's a funny thing also, Hiram, after we met and we discussed the platform of what Sell to a Veteran is, I want to just tell all the listeners out there and all the people watching, you just turned the switch, because you went from being a colleague, a friend, to being an integral part of Sell to a Veteran. And what you were able to do in the short time that we've had our business relationship is turn us on to other individuals who, again, are like-minded. You see, one of the things about Sell to a Veteran is that once we meet with the veteran, we educate the veteran on what the veteran home loan process is, and then we get them approved for their home loan through our banks. We need to get that veteran to a real estate agent, real estate broker. Now, we're in New York. We hope in the next year, maybe even shorter, who knows, to be nationwide. We want to help veterans all across this country. And the way we can do that is because of the platform that we're setting up here in New York. And by reaching out to veterans like yourself and to other veterans that are like-minded, we can get a call from someone in San Diego who says to us, I've heard your program. I'm a veteran. I want to get a home. How can we do it? And then once we process them through with the bank and get them that pre-approval, we can turn around and send them to someone who you've recommended, a broker in San Diego, in California, in Wisconsin, for example, who is a veteran who wants to work who's a veteran themselves and wants to work with the people that we send over who are veterans and military servicemen and women. So it's just been amazing what you've been able to do in the short time that we've been in touch with one another.
Yeah, you've helped us a lot, Hiram. And after we're done speaking, definitely go check out veteransentertainmenttalkshow.com. Our next guest actually has been a huge contributor to us, David Nedlin and the Veterans Home Buyers Network. And he's actually the education part to this whole apparatus. And I think, Hiram, you would definitely like him as well. And what we're trying to do, you've helped us. So definitely tune into that. But listen, you have a very extensive following on LinkedIn. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's pretty much, you can say that in LinkedIn. I'll humbly say that because I don't really want to talk about it that much, but since we're on the subject, you're right. And what's helped me out, what's helped me out is being pretty transparent and pretty congruent and branding myself for people like yourself that we've developed relationships to understand that, my purpose in life is pretty much being an advocate. So, and an advocate in both sides of giving back to the veterans, supporting the veterans, understanding the concept of the veterans, and at the same time, veterans lacking the personal growth to understand, to compete with today's society that has the wants and needs and demands, that they have the expectations that puts a lot of stressors on today's veterans when they're out there in the workforce or when they're applying a home or they don't understand the language they have that lack in trusted credibility to bond with people that are very like-minded to get that support and buy-in. So that's pretty much what's happened with me.
Well, you're the kind of guy that, you meet a guy like you, and there's an instant bond, and there's no phony baloney going on there. You see what you get what you see. You speak your mind, and it's evident that every fiber of your being is there for your brothers, the veterans. So again, let me thank you from my heart for all you do and all you're going to do in assisting us with Sell to a Veteran.
Hiram, we're going to have to jump to commercial in about a minute. If you can stay,
Sure.
if you want to stay on the phone, I want to wrap it up with you after we get back, maybe for about 2-3 minutes, and then we're going to bring on David Nedlin. So would you mind just holding on, and then we'll wrap
Sure.
it up when we get back?
Sure.
Awesome.
Excellent.
So we're going to shoot to commercials, and we'll be right back with Hiram.
All right, guys, today's show is brought to you by Goldman & Mora. Goldman & Mora is a proud sponsor of Vets Radio. With over 50 years of combined legal experience, Goldman & Mora offers a wide array of legal services to its clients. Brian Goldman practices in the area of personal injury, real estate, and special education. Brian Goldman especially prides himself in working closely with veterans and guiding them step by step through the purchase of their new home. Ellen Mora practices exclusively in the field of matrimonial and family law. Goldman & Mora is a proud sponsor of Vets Radio. Goldman & Mora for all of your legal needs. The Law Office of James E. Way. Attorney James Way has been providing legal services for over 18 years to the real estate community with dedication to the needs of first-time home buyers and is well-versed in all facets of veteran homes funding. James will take all our veterans and military families from contact to contract to closing. Give James Way a call for all of your real estate needs at 516-487-0100. That's 516-487-0100. Also sponsoring today's show, the Center for Integrative and Innovative Therapies, CIIT Center. The Center for Integrative and Innovative Therapies, once again, CIIT Center, is a comprehensive treatment center with numerous services that cater to the individual needs of those touched by chronic neurological conditions such as autism, spectrum disorder, traumatic brain injury, concussion, or chronic conditions like migraine, post-traumatic stress disorder, autoimmune diseases, and so much more. The CIIT Center's mission is to approach each patient as a total entity by enhancing the biomedical, neurological, nutritional, electrical, and immune system of each of our patients to improve their overall quality of life. Let me tell you about Allstate, all right? Allstate, the Andrew Lerner Agency. The Lerner Agency located at 71 Glen Cove Road, Greenvale, New York. For all of your insurance needs, give them a call at 516-621-7400. That's 516-621-7400. You are in good hands with Allstate. And now, back to the guys.
Back to the guy.
Thanks,
There you
Sarah.
go. There
That was
you-
great.
I'm
Great
wa-
job.
I'm watching-
You owe me for that neurological. Holy crap.
Easy for you to say.
I'm watching our live feed now,
Yeah, let me get back to your camera here.
and I
because
still see your pretty face.
Yeah, well, you told me. Hi, guys, this is me. You told me you wanted to see me,
I
right?
want to see that face.
There it is.
All
All right. Now it's true. Now you know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I have a face for radio.
Absolutely.
See that?
That's it.
There you go. Back
We
to
have-
you guys.
Is Hiram still on?
Hiram is there. Say hi.
Yes, I
Hiram.
am.
Okay.
Yes.
Hiram,
How you doing?
Welcome back.
Thank you.
So I
Thank you.
wanted to wrap up because there are a lot of veterans and active military families out there listening right now, and I want them to reach out and introduce themselves to you, and if they need anything to basically being a helping hand. So why don't you tell everyone how to contact you, the best way to contact you, if it's LinkedIn or whatever is necessary, and let everyone know.
Well, look, again, it's an honor. But first of all, I want to pay homage to the guys in the Camp Lejeune, in the 2nd Marine Corps Division out there that's been deployed out there in northern Syria as of yesterday. So we've sent about 400 troops, 400 Marines out there with the support of Special Forces. So, my prayers and honor to the fellow vets that are out there and the families that are supporting them. I want to first pay homage to them. As far as myself, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty much on there mostly all the time because I'm around more like-minded people from a business standpoint. You can also find me on Facebook, and it's pretty much you'll see my name out there, in which I support the three foundations, which is, first of all, the Marine Recon Foundation, for my brothers out there and special ops that are out there in the field. I support my brothers also, which is the Navy SEAL Foundation, which I have a long history and a long bond with these guys, the quiet professionals. And the Brothers in Arms Foundations, which are the Delta Force and the Green Beret guys that I deal with Fort Bragg and, and in Colorado and other places that we can't mention. So those are my, immediate family members that I support. So when you're looking for me, just, I'm there. I'm easy to reach out. You can find me and my email address out there. And my, for right now, that'd be safe because I just don't want to give out my number. But you can find me on those two social media sites. And then by that, let's connect and see what we can do and build a relationship. That's what I'm all about. Building relationships. You can't put a price on it because it's the difference between that and a business transaction. So how much is a business relationship or any type of relationship worth to you in today's society?
Awesome.
That's what.
Listen, I appreciate those words, and you've been great to us thus far. Do you want to say anything else that we didn't cover, or any last bit of information that you want to share?
Sure. I want to put out to the veterans out there that are listening today, whether you're entrepreneurs or you're, working in the private sector, in the federal sector, I vetted these gentlemen out. And, let's not be skeptical because, everybody plays I want to help the veteran card. But if you're putting yourself in a public spectrum that you're going to be pretty transparent, we're all going to call each other out. So for myself, my trust and credibility and my integrity is like, I'm not going to break that. So for myself to be able to speak in this public platform speaks in volumes because I'm taking action. So if you're looking for support, you're looking for, any kind of mentorship or financial direction or any type of way that you're looking to sustain something for your immediate families, reach out to us. Let us know what's going on. How can we help you? And that's pretty much, that's how you get through the first filter of understanding how business concepts work from, veteran to veteran to non-veteran to veteran supporters. So that's pretty much what I have to say.
Well,
thank you.
Hiram, thank you so much. Again, thank you so much for your service. Thank you to all of your brothers and sisters out there who have given themselves for us. And our prayers go out to your fellows, officers and enlisted men from Camp Lejeune. We just pray that they return safely. We will speak to you soon, and thank you so much for being a part of our show today.
God bless you, Hiram. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Awesome. What a guy.
He's fantastic,
Truthfully.
really. And, what he said is really important, and that is you have to vet everyone. And he's the kind of guy that would never be a part of this if there was even an inkling that there was something that wasn't kosher, for lack of a better word. If we weren't doing the right thing, if we weren't taking care of the veterans, if we weren't giving of ourselves 110% to the veterans, to educate them on home buying, to walk them through the whole process, he wouldn't be a part of it. So by him standing there, by him telling us that means more to me than anything. It means we're doing the right thing.
Listen, to have any veteran support us, like Eric does and Hiram does, our next guest does, Patrick Donahue from last week does, having any veteran that supports our cause and backs us and helps us get to where we need to get to is an honor to begin with.
Absolutely.
Because we're not veterans, having that trust, and Eric can attest to it, him being a veteran himself, us not being veterans, having veterans support us, excuse me, and basically want to follow us and help us, I think that means a lot.
Funny you should say that. I wrote a letter. Dear President Trump, I have two gentlemen that are in fine physical condition. No.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate that.
So how's real estate in Syria these days?
Right.
Oh,
but you do raise a very interesting point. And Hiram touched upon it as well. There are a lot of charities out there.
Tons of charities.
And there are a lot of charities that are geared towards the veterans. There are a lot of good charities. There's some bad charities. But let's just put our reputations on the line right here. We don't take a penny. We don't make a penny to sell to a veteran. Not one. Every penny that we fundraise, goes back to the veteran, for the veteran, and to assist the veteran in purchasing his or her new home.
Without question. And without further ado, we could talk about this forever, but Sell to a Veteran would not be Sell to a Veteran without our next guest. I want to jump to a quick commercial, if that's okay, and we'll bring him on, and we'll really get to know the heart of what Sell to a Veteran is.
Absolutely.
And how we get from contact to contract to home ownership. So, Eric, are you ready to jump to commercials?
I am ready.
Awesome. So let's jump to that. And we'll be right back on Veterans Entertainment Talk Show.
Today's episode of Veterans Entertainment Talk Show is brought to you by Goldman & Mora. Goldman & Mora is a proud sponsor of Vets Radio. With over 50 years of combined legal experience, Goldman & Mora offers a wide array of legal services to its clients. Brian Goldman practices in the area of personal injury, real estate, and special education. Brian Goldman especially prides himself in working closely with veterans and guiding them step by step through the purchase of their home. Ellen Mora practices exclusively in the field of matrimonial and family law. Goldman & Mora is a proud sponsor of Vets Radio. Goldman & Mora for all of your legal needs. Let me tell you about the law office of James E. Way. Attorney James Way has been providing legal services for over 18 years to the real estate community with dedication to the needs of first-time home buyers and is well-versed in all facets of veterans' home funding. James will take all of our veteran and military families from contact to contract to closing. Give James Way a call for all of your real estate needs at 516-487-0100. The Center for Integrative and Innovative Therapy, CIIT Center. The Center for Integrative and Innovative Therapies is a comprehensive treatment center with numerous services that cater to individual needs of those touched by chronic neurological conditions such as autism spectrum disorder, traumatic brain injury, concussion, or chronic conditions like migraine, post-traumatic stress disorder, autoimmune diseases, and so much more. The CIIT Center's mission is to approach each patient as a total entity by enhancing the biomedical, neurological, nutritional, electrical, and immune system of each of our patients to improve their overall quality of life. Let me tell you about Allstate. Allstate, the Learner Agency, 71 Glen Cove Road, Greenville, New York, 516-621-7400. That's 516-621-7400. You're in good hands with Allstate. Also, Sell to a Veteran. It's a nonprofit 501c3 organization based on Long Island that provides U.S. military and veterans families with a much-needed service to enable them to understand and utilize their VA benefits, primarily their VA loan, in buying, selling, and or refinancing a home. If you're a veteran or an active military serviceman or woman, call Sell to a Veteran today at 888-234-7171. That's 888-234-7171. Let me tell you about Magnificent Homes as well. Headquartered in Great Neck, New York, but serving the entire metropolitan area, Magnificent Homes and its staff work daily to educate prospective home buyers and sellers who have served and guide them through the real estate process. If you're looking to sell or purchase a new home, co-op, or condo, contact Magnificent Homes, LLC at 888-234-7171, 888-234-7171. And now back to Brian Goldman and Michael Aharoni.
Thank you very much, Eric.
Thank you very much, Eric.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Why don't you introduce our next guest?
Yes. Make sure you switch your beautiful face over to our beautiful face. And we'll introduce the next guest. So I don't even know where to begin with this one.
Start at the beginning.
What?
Go to the beginning.
Start from the beginning. You're so funny.
Thank you.
You're so funny. Hello, Mr. Nedlin. How are you?
Good afternoon, folks. How you doing?
Good, thank you. So, when we did, honestly, I'm lost for words here. That's how great this guy is.
Can you hear through your headphones? You good?
He will now. Yeah.
Now you will.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, now I will.
Yeah, there you go.
Now you will.
I had to get back to my chair.
Okay.
I think so. Well, if I'm hearing him, I'm hearing through my
There you
headphones.
go.
Yeah, look at that.
Okay.
I'm telling you, live TV is great. Now with that little input, now I know what to say.
Go ahead. Start it up.
I was a loss for words here. So when we started the Sell to a Veteran program, the inspiration behind this whole program came from the Veterans Home Buyers Network. And the Veterans Home Buyers Network is actually run by our next guest,
Absolutely.
David Nedlin.
David Nedlin.
What?
The David
The
Nedlin.
David Nedlin. So yes, Eric is clapping. So I'm not even going to let you describe yourself. Explain to everybody who you are, because I am a loss for words for the first time in my life. because I actually don't know
Let's
what
mark that down.
I actually don't know what I actually don't know what to say. And the reason why I don't is outside of wanting to do something for my grandfather, outside of meeting with the veteran that said, "Hey, why don't you do this?" The inspiration really did come from what you do. And I saw a niche that realtors, the real estate industry for that matter, I saw a niche that was untapped. I saw what you did,
Right.
and I said, you know what? I can even do it better than that with you.
Right.
So why don't we team up? And we did,
Yeah.
and we haven't looked back since. So without further ado, David Nedlin, we welcome you to Veterans Entertainment Talk Show.
Well, thank you. I want to thank the both of you for having me here.
Our pleasure.
Just again to give you a little background, I've been working with veterans and military personnel for 22 years. My father was a captain in the Army, and he actually owned a mortgage bank in Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn, with a couple of other veterans as well. I think there was a Marine there, Navy guy, Army, and that was open. They started as brokers back in like 1992 or 3, and I started working with him in 1995. So at that point, I knew nothing about the mortgage industry, really. I knew nothing about veterans and their needs or anything of that nature. So that's how I got started, and they were a mortgage bank, and they were just working with veterans. The concept was by veterans for veterans, and working with the VA loan program. And so that's how I started, but I realized something very, very early. Now, you have to understand, I come in there, and I knew nothing about the VA loan. So once I learned a little bit about the VA loan program, enough to maybe sit down and talk to a veteran about that. And I'm sitting and talking with them, and I'm noticing they know less than me. They knew nothing. Now this goes back.
Crazy how they know nothing.
Yeah. Now this goes
yes.
back to 1995. Okay, it's different today, but back in 1995, 22 years ago, the whole VA home loan was much different. To give you an example, I mean, the maximum loan amount today, $636,000 in the New York area, but back then it was something like $144,000. Just to show you how real estate has changed.
Well, the market has gone crazy out here in Long Island. Yeah.
And so from a very early time, I've realized that every time I sat down with a veteran, I had to go over the same thing over and over and over every meeting, because they really did not know about this program and what they were entitled to and how the VA loan program worked. And then all of a sudden, I had a gentleman walk into the office, and he said, "How would you like to do a VA home loan workshop for veterans?" And I was like, yeah, because I could educate a whole bunch of them just at once rather than one right after another. And I didn't necessarily know how many veterans would come there. We were given the New York City VA Medical Center to hold the event at. I was fortunate enough to have met the commander of the Military Order of the Purple Heart, Chapter 3 back then. His name is Tony Rivera. May he rest in peace. So he made the facility available. We came in, and we put a little ad in the Daily News. Not too big of an ad. Back then, people read the newspapers.
What's a newspaper?
Right, exactly. You look on the subway today, everyone's looking in their phone.
For sure.
But back then, those things really, they didn't exist, And I was crossing my fingers. I said, I hope we get a couple of calls. Well, it came out on a Friday. By lunchtime, we had 300 reservations.
Wow.
We had to book a second night. And I'm like, wow, look at this. There's something, this is a need out there. And
this is in 1995.
1995, okay?
Crazy.
And so from that point, we had to book 2 events. So then all of a sudden, things started taking shape for me. And back then, the Home Loan Guarantee Department was located in New York City in Houston Street. Now it's a regional office in Cleveland, but back then it was there. They put out this list, VA-approved lenders in New York State. So I looked at it one day, and there was a lot of them in Long Island, enough of them, and then going up north of Westchester and Syracuse and Buffalo and Albany and all those places. But what had hit me was that I looked, American Eagle Mortgage Bankers, which was my father's company, was the only bank in the 5 boroughs of New York City to be on that list. So there I had it. I knew there was a need for this. But then I had my quote-unquote tagline, American Eagle Mortgage Bankers, the only VA-approved bank in New York City. That's the start of everything. And then ultimately in 2000, I formed the Veteran Home Buyers Network because the mortgage side is just one dimension of the entire picture that a veteran needs to become a homeowner. And, you know, through the years, I worked with every veteran organization out there. I would do VA home loan workshops at one point every month at each the Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Bronx VA medical centers to a crowd of 300 people every night, every month for 3-4 years in a row. But in moving forward a little bit, and the whole concept that I saw was that to fully service the need of a veteran home buyer, number one, they need to be educated. They need to know what this is. And even today, in 2017, I've got veterans out there that are under the perception that, well, you have to be deployed to use your VA loan benefits.
All right, let's brief about that education part.
Okay.
Because that's the key to everything. To begin with with everything is the education part.
That's that's our foundation, if you will, of Sell to a Veteran. I mean, that's where we start.
Right.
Taking from what you're saying, we start by educating.
Yes.
Because we didn't know when we
Right.
started
It's truly
a veteran's
crazy.
loan from anything else.
The veterans that you have given us and veterans that we get from elsewhere, and we say to them, where did you find out about the VA loan? And a lot of them say, well, we Googled it, or we attended one of your workshops. And they said, yeah, I got discharged. I go through the TAP program.
Right.
And Eric, you could probably attest to this too. So I go
Yeah.
through the TAP program, and they go, here you go, read it.
You get a letter. What happens?
Goodbye.
You get a certificate. You could apply for when you get out, and you go to your veterans counselor, and you can fill out all the different forms and things like that. Next thing I know, and I'm talking way back now. I got a certificate in the mail said I was eligible for a VA loan, but what do you do with that? You know, and then and he's right. When there's nobody else out there that's really approved to be able to do the VA loans, they don't have any idea how to explain it. To have an agency or to have someone that you can go to and be able to have that explained what your benefits are, it's a beautiful thing.
And you know something else,
I'm
David?
smiling because he's trying to get his headset working over here.
Why is that
Yeah.
working?
He can't hear you.
All right, let me come on and check.
I mean, I know you're talking because I hear you in the background.
He's
but
not saying anything nice. Don't worry. He's not
It's-
saying a thing
it's-
that's
listen,
nice about you.
It's your live TV. But as Eric was saying, you know, it's the fact that and he'll do what he needs to do, and I'll just continue talking. Is the fact, and then you can hear me offset anyway. Is that education part? So you go
Right.
you get the certificate, you get discharged, you go through the TAP program, you basically say, hey, here you go, good luck, and it's like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
You know, now what? I have no idea what to do, how to do it, who to go to.
Right.
You know, and it's somebody that they need somebody.
Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a miracle. Woo!
Yes. Okay.
You know, David.
Eric to the rescue.
It's kind of like reading the manual on how to drive a car,
Right.
right? And then going on the LA and driving.
Exactly.
You have no idea what you're doing.
Right.
So
Right.
if I tell you that you want to get a home loan, you get 100% financing, what does it even mean?
Right.
And that's you've done God's work.
Yeah.
You really have.
So let's touch. So
Yeah.
go back to now.
Right.
Fast forward.
Right.
Here you are today.
Yeah. Well. Here's the thing again about why what you guys, you know, working in sync with me and me working in sync with you, what's really needed in that. So even if you have a veteran now that knows everything about the program, they know all the guidelines. In the dynamic of becoming a homeowner and putting that into place, you have now another huge hurdle, which has always been there, but now it's no longer there with us. But the hurdle was, okay, but what if my mortgage banker doesn't know anything about this loan program? What if my real estate agent doesn't know anything? What if the other listing agent doesn't know anything? You know,
because it's not your typical loan.
Right. I mean, the VA loan, it's like anything else. If you do something over and over and over again, you know how to do it. If you do it's like on your computer, you have a password and you say, I'll never forget that password, but you don't sign into an account for 6 months. You go, oh, I forgot my password. And it's the same thing. If you're not doing something all the time, it's a problem. So your typical loan officer or your typical real estate agent out there, you know, a very small percentage of what they're working with are veterans.
Well, and even more so, the attorneys. Attorneys that do real estate, it's not the same thing as doing real estate with a veteran's home loan, because there are intricacies to the veteran's home loan process that many attorneys don't know, don't appreciate. And as an attorney, when I have deals with other attorneys who don't know the veterans market, it's very difficult to make them step outside of the box that they place themselves in to try to think about, well, oh, this is 100% financing. How does that factor in? So you're absolutely right. I mean, it's educating on every level.
Well, and that's why the Veteran Home Buyers Network was found, because we would work with veterans, get them pre-approved, and then I would just throw them out to the wind and hope they found a home somewhere. And I got to tell you something. I've had to educate real estate agents my whole life and brokers and this and that. So the concept of the Veteran Home Buyers Network is to assemble all the moving pieces a veteran needs to become a homeowner, which is the education, the VA home loan or the VA approved mortgage banker, the real estate division, attorneys. Everybody's got to work in sync and know what they're doing and know how to structure VA loans and know the finer points, so that will complement then a well-educated veteran who wants to go out there and buy a home. And then you bring all of those things and you make a perfect salad out of all of them, and everything's there in the right ingredients and the right proportions. And then you have a mechanism to make home ownership a reality for veterans, which is the ultimate goal. And you guys are a crucial part of what I do, and I'm also probably an important part of what you guys do.
Yeah, you're all right.
And here's the thing, at the end of the day, it's all about helping the veteran. It's all about serving them, but
serving them the right way also.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause it's one thing of educating the veteran. It's another thing of actually helping the veteran.
Yeah.
And guiding them with the right people, which you touched upon. I mean, there's a dime a dozen people in the real estate industry, and you've said it. There's tons of realtors out there that do excellent work. But again, it's the VA loan and the way you negotiate and the way you really do things that are different. And I can attest to it because I've been there. I've lived it.
Right.
You know, and veterans that come through you, right, that you educate, need that guidance. You know, they need someone like the Sell to a Veteran program that can take them from contact, that's where you come in, to contract, that's where you come in, to the home ownership, where I come in now, and negotiate and get them that deal. You know, and with the charity that we run, the 501c3, you know, not every veteran, and I'll end it with this, and then we're going to jump to commercial. Not every, let me backtrack. There are a dime a dozen charities out there that work with the homeless charity. They work with homeless veterans, disabled veterans. They do a great job. Okay, it's those eligible veterans, and you can attest to this too, that have a job, can show income, that have okay credit or great credit, that can be eligible for a VA loan, but they don't know it.
Right.
They don't know it. They don't know how to do it.
Right.
Because, well, I don't have any money in the bank account. I don't have any down payment. I don't have this, I don't have that. You know, so it's 100% finance.
Well, why don't we wait? Let's go to commercial.
Well, I'll get into that. I think people are chiming in here since I hear the computer.
I'm just checking the chats. Go ahead.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll go to the chats after. But 100% finance, and that's where the charity comes in, where we'll raise money to cover the costs of any repairs or down payment that the veteran may not have. Again, we'll get more into depth with that. I want to get more into depth with you as to the type of veterans and how you actually get out there.
Right.
But we'll jump to commercial now. If you are listening and you want to tune in or chime in, I should say, go to veteransentertainmenttalkshow.com, or you can find us on WLINY.com. And Eric, I'll throw it back to you.
Absolutely. Today's show is sponsored by Goldman & Moore. Goldman & Moore is a proud sponsor of Vets Radio. With over 50 years of combined legal experience, Goldman & Moore offers a wide array of legal services to its clients. Brian Goldman practices in the area of personal injury, real estate, and special education. Let me just check the cameras here. There we go. Special education. Brian Goldman especially prides himself in working closely with veterans and guiding them step by step through the purchase of their new home. Ellen Maurer practices exclusively in the field of matrimonial and family law. Goldman & Maurer is a proud sponsor of Vets Radio. Goldman & Maurer for all of your legal needs. Also sponsoring today, the law office of James E. Way. Attorney James Way is providing 18 years of service to the real estate community with dedication to the needs of first-time homebuyers and is well-versed in all facets of veterans' home funding. James will take all of our veterans and military families from contact to contract to closing. Give James Way a call for all of your real estate needs at 516-487-0100. That's 516-487-0100. The Center for Integrative and Innovative Therapy, CIIT Center, is a comprehensive treatment center with numerous services that cater to individual needs of those touched by chronic neurological conditions such as autism spectrum disorder, traumatic brain injury, concussion, or chronic conditions like migraine, post-traumatic stress disorder, autoimmune diseases, and so much more. The CIIT Center's mission is to approach each patient as a total entity by enhancing the biomedical, neurological, nutritional, electrical, and immune system of each of our patients to improve their overall quality of life. The Lerner Agency at 71 Glen Cove Road in Greenville, New York, an all-state agency, can help you with all of your insurance needs. Give them a call for a free insurance checkup at 516-621-7400. That's 516-621-7400. You are in good hands with Allstate. Also sponsoring today, Sell to a Veteran. Sell to a Veteran is a nonprofit 501c3 organization based on Long Island that provides U.S. military and veterans families with much-needed services to enable them to understand and utilize their VA benefits, primarily their VA loan in buying, selling, and refinancing a home. If you're a veteran or an active military serviceman or woman, call Sell to a Veteran today at 888-234-7171. Magnificent Homes, headquartered in Great Neck, New York, but serving the entire metropolitan area. Magnificent Homes and its staff work daily to educate prospective home buyers and sellers who have served and guide them through the real estate process. If you're looking to sell or purchase a new home, co-op, or condo, contact Magnificent Homes, LLC at 888-234-7171. That's 888-234-7171. And now back to Veterans Entertainment Talk Show. Here's Mike, and here's Brian.
Thank you, Eric.
You're welcome.
I'm watching you do the commercials.
Yeah.
And you look great.
Do I? I screwed up one of them. I was, blah, 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 you know, but this is
look
live radio.
Great.
Thank you.
I'm watching you.
Are you?
Yeah, on WLINY.com and
You-
Veterans Entertainment Talk Show.
It's amazing, isn't it? You know, see what happened. You sent me. It's all communication. Michael, it's all a communication. You communicated with the email, and I do what you were saying.
That's
see,
it.
see
That's
that?
it.
How's that? All right. Good, huh?
All right, so let's go back. Tell us. Let's first talk about: are all veterans? Are they all eligible?
Well, here's the no.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
Yes or no?
technically, if you're a veteran, then you're eligible. But let me explain to you how you meet the eligibility requirements
Great.
for a VA loan.
Because we want everyone
Okay.
listening to understand. If there's one thing that they take away from the show today, is how you become eligible and what the basics are
Sure.
of the VA loan. Because
Sure.
it's not just 1 + 1 is 2. It's
Right.
very involved.
Yeah.
So go ahead, tell us.
Okay, well, The veteran or military personnel is going to fit into basically one of three categories. Either they've been full-time active for 181 days, then they're eligible. Or they've been in the Guard or Reserves for 6 years, then they're eligible. Or they've been deployed, then they're eligible. And when I say deployed, I mean served during wartime, 30 days, but it's the same thing. If you're deployed, then you're going to be eligible.
Okay.
Now, here's the one thing. If you're in the Guard or Reserves for like 3 years, but then you get called into active duty for at least that 181 days, then you're eligible too. You don't need to finish those 6 years in the Guard or Reserves because you have that other 181-day criteria that you fill.
Okay.
So it's basically going to be one of those three categories that you're going to fit into.
Is there a document that a veteran is going to have that they're going to show you to say, I have done this or I have been there? I mean, you're not just going to take the person at their say-so, correct?
Well, here's now what could happen. If you're a VA-approved lender, you can get what's called their eligibility certificate right online, which I could go into see if a veteran ever got their eligibility certificate, and this is where the confusion and the craziness starts, because it's going to have a number on there and an amount, and the veterans got no clue what that is. They will either think, oh, well, they're going to give me that much to buy a home, or they're going to think that's what I could buy a home for, or they're going to think whatever they're going to think, and none of those answers are right. And quite frankly, to this day, when I do my workshops, I go, how many people have their eligibility certificate? Whoever raises their hands does. And I'll say, you know that number on it? Forget about it. Just forget it, ignore it, doesn't matter. If you have that, it means you meet the requirements to be eligible for the program. And even from that point, because depending upon when that eligibility certificate was received and gotten, there could be different numbers on there, and it would take a while to go over what that number means, but that is the guarantee amount, and what does that mean? It confuses them. The bottom line is the following. The national, that you've been asking, the national VA home loan limit, national now, is 417,000, or maybe it went up to like 423, I think, recently.
Yeah, I think 423 went up to.
Now, but we're doing the show in New York. So there are areas that are considered to be higher property valued areas, for lack of a better term. So here in New York and other areas in the Northeast, the VA limit is 636,500. So whenever I do a workshop around here, I say, you could buy a home up to that amount of money if you're an eligible veteran with no money down.
And they qualify for the loan,
Well,
right?
here's the thing. Being approved or being eligible for a VA loan is not necessarily being approved for a VA mortgage.
Right.
Now, being eligible means that you can, get a VA loan.
You can apply.
You could apply, as opposed to not being able to do that. Now, at the end of the day, though, what veterans need to understand is that this is not a gift, it's not a grant, it's not a gimmicky program, it's a mortgage loan. It's something that you have to pay back, and in order to pay it back, you have to have monies coming in. So what the bank does, not the VA, the mortgage bank, based upon your income, based upon your expenses, or your debts, I should say, and they put it all into a formula. The bank, figures out and determines how much of a VA loan up to that 636,500 in New York that you could be approved for. So it's not a guaranteed approval of anything. It just shows the banker that you can get into this program. But then the banker does all of that stuff between credit reports and income and all of that.
I also want to mention also that not every bank has the VA approval and the direct lending.
Right.
So not only does the veteran have to find the bank, let's say they don't use us or they don't know about us, make sure the bank is VA approved.
Yes.
That it has the direct lending to the VA. Because listen, anybody can write VA loans, but having a direct lender is what you need.
Yes, yes. And believe it or not, even those people who are VA-approved lenders, like I had mentioned to you before, they maybe do VA loans far and few between. They have the designation because if they want to do a VA loan, they can, but it doesn't mean they're good at doing what they're doing.
Well, let me ask you this. So let's assume they've now shown their eligibility. They've been referred to a bank, a VA-approved lender,
Right.
and the bank does their due diligence. They take all their tax information. They give them a pre-approval. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Right. That pre-approval says to the outside world, I can buy a house up to whatever that amount is. Correct.
Right.
Tell our listeners what are the things that you have to watch. What are the things you look for, or you need to know as a veteran that the VA loan provides you. You've gotten that pre-approval,
Right.
but what are the things that it gives you in addition to the loan itself?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things about the VA loan program, but just basically in general, in the limited time we have left, and probably one of the most important things, and challenges that a veteran has, is that, so now let's say I'll use the figure of 400,000. Somebody's pre-approved for 400,000. They want to buy a home. And the way the VA loan works is that it's a no money down, or better put, 100% loan to value, meaning you're approved for 400,000, you find a home for 400,000, the bank will give you that amount of money. From the bank's perspective, they don't need you to put down any money at all or come into any.
Now that's very well put. From the bank's perspective, they don't want you, or they don't care,
They don't care.
whether you put any money down.
Right.
In your experience, and I can tell you about my experience as well as yours, Michael, when you are entering into a contract for that veteran to purchase a house,
Right.
the attorney on the other side of the table, representing the seller, he or she's going to want you to put money down, because that's what you customarily do when you are selling a house. The buyer puts customarily anywhere from 10%, sometimes a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more, but they put that amount down upon signing the contract. So given your number, the selling attorney would expect that the veteran's going to put down $40,000. Now, tell our listeners that makes no sense.
Yeah.
And before you tell our listeners, I just want to, I'm the timekeeper here.
Right.
It's already 3 o'clock, so technically our show has ended.
Well,
but because this is such a good show, and
2:57.
and Eric loves us,
Yeah.
Eric is going to allow us to go just a little past 3 o'clock. Right, Eric?
The check gets made payable to JVK.
So
In
let's
about-
let's shorten it.
Yep.
We'll have you come on, of course,
Right.
again, because this is such an
It's too important.
important aspect of it.
Right.
Because
I agree.
after everything else, you need to understand how everything works.
Right.
So in a short, brief
In
way.
a very, very, in 60 seconds or less. Here's why what you do is important, why it's needed, why we came up with this concept, which is, at the end of the day, the number one challenge a veteran's going to have in buying a home is not getting pre-approved, not finding the home. Once they find the home, getting their offer accepted, because all of these real estate agents out there, all of these attorneys out there, all of these sellers out there, mistakenly so, perceives an offer from a veteran using a VA loan as being a weaker offer than a guy putting down $40,000. But at the end of the day, if they close
It's the same
and the
money.
sellers get their money, it's the same thing.
Exactly.
And VA loans are the easiest thing to do. There's no mortgage insurance. There's no money down. There's no cash reserves needed. The credit is it's the most lenient credit score program. It's the easiest thing. So the Sell to a Veteran program is so important, because how do we get veterans' offers accepted? We have to make our homes, our properties available. And first of all, who better to do that than a veteran? So you American Legion guys and VFW guys and Korean War veteran guys and you people who are going to sell your home and relocate and do things like that, you need to call Sell to a Veteran, because who's more deserving than the Iraqi veteran, than the guy that's in Afghanistan, than your younger brother in arms that is a well-deserving veteran looking to use their VA loan benefits to become a homeowner. And so there has to be a conscious education, not only of the veteran of the VA loan program, but the seller of the VA loan program, to understand that these are veterans, these are people, they should be patriotic, they should sell to a veteran before they should sell to anyone else.
You're hired.
Listen, amen to that.
That's
I'm
exactly what we
watching
wanted.
our live feed. I just want to do a quick shout out to Erin Burke. Erin Burke is shared our video and is watching, so I thank you. She was one of our clients.
Absolutely. Hi, Erin.
Her husband was a veteran, so thank you so much again. I want to do a shout out to Linda Koppelman. That name sounds familiar.
Yeah, a little. Who
She
could
liked-
that be?
She liked our video.
Did she?
She did. Name
Wow.
sounds familiar.
Cut it.
Anybody you know?
Name sounds really familiar.
You're going to get it when you get home.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right now.
And I want to do a shout out to Adrian McCormick. She liked our video as well. So thank you so much, and all the viewers out there watching now, and all the viewers and listeners watching after the show. Thanks so much. Again, we have David Nedlin here from the Veterans Home Buyers Network. There's just so much that we can cover.
You can be here forever. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We could be here forever. I know we're short for time. We'll have you on again.
Very
We're
soon.
gonna blast this video out so we can get people on for that second time, because we've literally just scratched the surface.
Yes.
That's it. I wanted to dive into it.
Right.
We're not diving into it today.
Right.
So anyone listening now, and again, anyone listening off air, if you do want to get in contact and go through the Sell to a Veteran program and the Veterans Home Buyers Network, why don't you let them know, David Nedlin, how they can get in contact with you, how to set up with you, where you can go, what you'll do. So do your little 30-second infomercial.
Well, it's Veteran Home Buyers Network is the name of the company. So if you look up veteranhomebuyersnetwork.com, or if you look up on Facebook, Veteran Home Buyers Network, you could find our information there. And our phone numbers and what have you. We're on Facebook. Our page has about 2,200 likes so far. And we do monthly VA home loan workshops, and we're going to start in conjunction with you guys to do monthly VA home loan webinars. So no matter where you are, if you're outside of the New York area, you can't get here, physically, you're going to be able to still take part of something, which will be like a 2-hour thing. That'll be, just like the live event.
Awesome. Listen, you're as I said to you before you came on, I was for loss of words because one of the main reasons why we're here is because of you. So I thank you for giving me the inspiration to do what we do, and I thank you for joining forces with us. And we're a good team.
Yes,
we're,
sir.
we're a good team. I also want to thank Hiram. Hiram is truly an amazing individual, and I could not be any more honored to have him on our team. And I think I speak
that
for
he
you as
selected
well.
that he selected us to work with us. That's a lot.
He's
That says a
an
lot.
honor, and we could have spoke to him much more
my
in
goodness.
depth as well. But again, for time purposes and whatnot, definitely reach out to him. If you want to reach out to us, if you want any questions about the VA loan, if you want to reach out to David, you want to reach out to Hiram, definitely give us a call. Check us out on veteransentertainmenttalkshow.com. We're here every Thursday at 2 p.m. Do you have any final last words before the snow hits us tomorrow?
Hit him with the hind. That's the finest last words. Okay?
Any final words
No,
before
thank
we
you
head
all
over?
thank you all for listening.
Eric, I'm gonna throw it back to you. And what I'll say is thank you, God bless. Thank you all for your service, and I'll see you next Thursday, 2 p.m. Eric?
Say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.
What you